I think we can all agree that Dynamite was much better than it was last week. You know, I said it a bunch. Excuse me. The bad taste left in people's mouths after last week's the way in the Dynamite. I bet TK and others really listened, and they certainly showed out for the Golem edition of Dynamite before All In, which thus another card or another match was added to the card. And the House Black versus the Acclaimed. But Dynamite flowed much better, Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho had a very good press conference or contract signing for the match, which we'll get into. And yeah, certainly pumped for that match. We can all agree that Ospreay, it does feel underwhelming for that match for him. But, Ospreay and Jericho are going to try to do their best to make it as very good of a match as it can be on Sunday. I think we can agree. And with the circumstances in 2023, simple as that. But yeah, Dynamite went well. The segments with MJF and Adam Cole, John Moxley versus Fenix, that was a pretty good match in itself. But yeah. So there were rumors, that Tony Khan and AEW was going to make changes towards Allin's card. And that's what they did. So, first off was because I know I was not the only one who saw the tag team match tonight. And being Swerve and Fox versus Nick Wayne and Darby Allin. And thought, well, this is pretty strange in being the 3 to 4 participants in that tag match, coffin match. Yeah, we're going to get the same match almost with Sting for All In, but yeah, that changed as Air Fox was fired from the Mogul MC, and the proclaimed TNT champion Christian Cage will take his place at All In, so that's an upgrade. Another thing to get into. So, there wonders about the tag partners of BCC for that same Stampede match for Wembley. And we had a feeling, and glad we were right, as Santana and Ortiz, proud and powerful, are back in AEW. Both look great. And the other thing is, there were reports that Fenix, due to visa issues, was probably not going to be able to get into the country for Allin. So instead, they seemingly wrote him off TV, in which, after the match, he was beaten down and then was stretchered off. And that kind of, I liked it because they play into the factor of Moxley, Kingston, their friendship, Renee Paquette. It played well. And then lastly, with the titles match with The Acclaimed and the House of Black, with the returning Billy Gunn. You know, it is unique because they've not done pretty much anything with The Acclaimed significantly since losing the tag titles to the Guns. And, the House Black, I don't want to see them drop the trio titles. But at the same time, with The Acclaimed, they left The Acclaimed, and it would certainly be a pop in Wembley. Who knows? Besides, we know how talented Buddy and Black are on their own. So, we'll see. But, alas, thank you guys for joining me. We'll get into review in just a sec. And so, beforehand, if you guys are new, hit that subscribe button there. Help the channel, help the video out, and see all the videos and fill up your inbox. Notification bell as well. Find out when they all get posted. So, yep, pretty much. So, with that, let's get to it. So, Dynamite basically started off with a big brawl. It was slated to be the Elites versus the Guns and Juice Robinson. But the match didn't really go underway because there's attack early. Juice knocked out the referee with his left hand of God. And the match was basically thrown out, and it was a big brawl between both factions. Jay White got involved. I mean, Zeke. Well, unfortunate, but we will probably see. We will see him at Wembley on Sunday. Did not see Kota Ibushi in this, so it's a lot unfortunate. But we did see, Jay White, and I mean, trying to build more heat for this match going into Sunday, along with Takeshita, and yeah, should be a fun match. It just, I don't have doubt it's going to be a fun card. Very good card on Sunday. It's just the build. How we're getting to this card. Certainly, and how it turned about is lackluster, I think we could say. But yeah, nonetheless, Takeshita and them gotta dodge. So pretty simple. Got attacks on everyone. So yeah. Yep. You're gonna see Juice. Gonna see Jay White in that crowd. Takeshita, that's gonna be good for him. And the Elite, which I can imagine Carry On My Wayward Son is gonna make for a hell of an entrance in front of 80,000 plus. So then we cut to MJF backstage with Renee Paquette. This one, Renee was busy on Wednesday, so MJF talked about his bonding with Adam Cole, the broship, or whatever you call it. So they showed highlights of their romance, pretty much the last couple weeks, but also showed some cracks in the friendship. So Renee asked point blank, it seems like there's some cracks in the relationship. So basically, MJF said, well, you know, Cole is really his one true friend, or been his one true friend. Said yes, he's done things, but it's clear as day that, from opening All Out or Allin 5 years ago, and now main eventing the big show in pro wrestling, and talked about being a scumbag that said yes, he knows a thing or two, but he says he is their scumbag. So we'll see what happens for yeah, we'll see what happens on Wembley Sunday. John Moxley versus Ray Fenix. From Renee to Mox. Simple. So, pretty good match, we could seemingly say. So, Phoenix, glad to see him healthy. There was worry a bit that he could be injured a couple weeks ago, but seems good. But the angle after was good. So, Phoenix is Suicida. He landed hard from Mox on the outside. Mox then focused on the arm of Phoenix. Fenix fired a comeback, hit a rolling cutter for a 2. Then out of the corner, Fenix hit a twisting thrust kick, which knocked Mox down, hit a frog splash for a good looking near fall. Mox went for a Death Rider, but Fenix countered to a roll up for a 2 count. Mox, I kind of thought this would be the finish of the match. Mox hit an avalanche Death Rider on the Phoenix, but only for a 2. And then walked in a rear naked choke. Phoenix passed out, and there you go. Mox is the victor. Afterwards, the rest of the BCC came out with the attack. What annoys me is how slow, Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends made their way down to the ring. Then we see we saw Kingston and Penta make their way down to the ring. All of a sudden we see Ortiz. Well, let's talk. And then he's preventing Penta and Kingston, stopping the attack. Then all of a sudden we hear the music, and Santana arrives, and there's this scuffle that ensues between all 4, and there's crowbar out, and Phoenix got whacked in the back of the head, and BCC and Santana Ortiz trot off, and appears though that Santana Ortiz are the mystery partners of the BCC. Now, when it was 6-on-6, I held out hope that. Well, I'm curious who the sixth man would have been. I would say. I was holding out hope because it is 12 guys. It's not like a big one-on-one match. So, held out hope that Brian would return. I mean, hopefully he still at least makes an appearance. But yeah, with that and Fenix's visa issue taken out, and seemingly it's 5-on-5 now. Penta, Kingston, best friends versus BCC and Santana Ortiz. It's gonna be a fun affair on Sunday. The BC or Santana Ortiz. They've been in both. Yeah. They were in both Stadium Stampede matches in Jacksonville. So there you go. I hmm. Now I think about it, they're the only ones with experience for that match. So there you go. I mean, while it was fit for the pandemic, I get it. This is their biggest card, the biggest crowd. Want to get as much people on the show. Just hope it's a fun and chaotic but good match. That's what we can hope for at the end of the day. Maybe this leads to, say, Moxley and Kingston. Claudio versus Kingston, because the way it seems, we need another match out of those two. But we shall see. Sammy Guevara. He was backstage, apparently a pre-tape segment that was before or that was earlier in the day. He was with Renee, asked about why he was, or talked about him saying true to his word that he would be there for Jericho like he was last week with the attack by Ospreay. And excuse me. And 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. They were confused and they were not supportive of Guevara saving Jericho last week, as they were basically warning him like, hey, you've been there for your friend, but when has your friend been there for you? Or just They were just mainly warning him, I'd say. So, yep. All three of them need to still be showcased mainly on the show. I feel like something's gonna boast or so come out of this. We'll see. This definitely was, to me, the best part of the show. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Now, the way this match happened, or way it was pronounced last week, felt a bit random to some. So, good on Callis, good on Jericho providing a bit of an explanation, and, the whole back and forth just felt very good. I mean, Ospreay is just commanding, and yeah, this was fun. So, Callis was out there with Ospreay. Jericho was out there with Guevara. So, Callis was riddled with booze, as you expect. So, Callis said, well, people are wondering why I did what I did last week. Saying, well, I was thinking, what could be better than Jericho joining the Don Callis family? Well, him being a part in ending the career of the GOAT, Chris Jericho. Up for debate, but Chris Jericho is definitely one of the best with what he's done, and yeah, certainly one of my favorites of all time. But yeah, Callis said that he offered Ospreay Jericho's head on a silver platter at Wembley. So he gave up Jericho for Ospreay. And to make it a little personal, Callis said Jericho almost died in England a few years ago. And that he'll be right there when Will finishes the job on Sunday. So then Ospreay took the mic, and this was really got picked up a notch. Ospreay, the Englishman, he hasn't really talked much through his time in AEW, but yeah, this was very good. So, Ospreay said, Jericho, are you taking this match seriously, bro? Or is this just another vanity project to say your band is performing at Wembley. Hence, they will be performing live. It was announced that they will play Juice live and also Jericho on his way to the ring for his match. So he said Wembley is the biggest stadium in the entire UK. And this match is going to change his life. Saying he's got a missus and a 4-year-old stepson at home. Saying that once he beats him, it'll bode well for his future, as in he'll be the only one to say he beat Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, which he did in the G1, and Chris Jericho in 2 months. And that will bode well because his contract, this is interesting. Ospreay says contract with New Japan is up in 6 months. And he looked a bit at the camera. You know, we talked. MJF talks about the big war of 2024. You know, Ospreay, that's pretty damn close for himself. You know, see, because Aussie Open is all elite. And Aussie Open are Osprey's boys. So it makes me curious if, like, Tony Khan, you know, I won't be surprised with either. But, yeah, Ospreay said, you know, it just poses the question of who will bid away millions and millions of dollars to Will Ospreay, because he knows he is the best wrestler on the planet. And want to make mention that the day before he wrestles Jericho on Sunday, that on Saturday, he will be facing Shingo Takagi, apparently in Indy. So he said he's trying to get as much money as he can to put his stepson through school. And said that he's better than the Elite. He's better than Bryan Danielson. He's better than Punk, which really kicked up. And he said he's better than you in Jericho. So he said, all your accolades, all your championships, all your legacy, I respect it. But he said all it is rocket fuel for him and his future. And he signed on the dotted line, and his piece was finalized. So, Jericho took his spiked jacket off. You knew it was going to get a bit serious for him. So, Jericho said, well, let's talk about your future. Actually, let's talk about your present. You know, saying congrats to everything you've done so far. But I don't think you would have done all this if it wasn't for me in Jericho. Saying that 5 years ago, when everyone was predicting that you were going to end up in a wheelchair, including Meltzer, including the dirt sheets, everything, were predicting that Ospreay was going to end up in a wheelchair by the time he was 30. Jericho reached out and called him, got his number, called him, and he said to tone it down. Otherwise, he'd end up like his hero, the Dynamite Kid, because he was so reckless. So, called Ospreay and said, this is bigger to him than anything. This his biggest match. This is the biggest event for him. This is bigger than any WrestleMania, any Wrestle Kingdom. Saying this match has been in the works for years. He didn't need to attack him last week to get this match. Said it was supposed to happen in 2021 before the lockdown in Japan, but said there's no lockdown. This is Wembley. It said prove to 8,000 of his countrymen, that you can beat Chris Jericho. And he's sick of everyone trying to predict his demise. But ultimately, he said, well, don't make me regret. And Ospreay was fired up about this. So Jericho was like, don't make me regret calling you 5 years ago. And don't make me regret the fact that you're not in a wheelchair. I know. So Ospreay knocked the mic out of Jericho's hand. Jericho actually slapped Ospreay, and there was a bunch of security and stuff in the ring. They hold him back for a bit, and yeah, this was fun. Certainly fun. Have to admit, this match, this promo contract signing got me pumped. I hate the typical, when the table is set up and there's basically, two guys, sitting across from it like this, as opposed to the edges of the table. And, it's in the middle of the ring. It's just them and some other guy that's mediating. But, yeah, this felt big. Like I said earlier, no one doubts that this is going to be a very good match. It's just with Ospreay in his prime, And Jericho still doing very good for the circumstances he is in 2023. It's just feels a bit underwhelming for Ospreay for Wembley. But alas, Jericho is still a big name 2023. It's going to be a pretty good match. And at the end of the day, we get Ospreay in Wembley in front of 8,000. So, yeah. It's going to be good. And got me pumped. The only thing is, I hope that it's not... I mean, I can understand why, because Elevated is a very good theme for Ospreay. I only hope that in Wembley that we get to hear that theme in front of 8,000 plus for Ospreay, because he deserves it. I mean, Elevated and Judas, those entrances will sell you enough. Next up, Darby Allin, Nick Wayne for AR Fox and Swerve. Decent match here, you know. So, as I mentioned, you know, Tony Khan gonna make changes to the card for Sunday. That's he did. So, they were fighting in the crowd. It got pretty chaotic. So, they were fighting in the crowd. They fought on the outside. All of a sudden, Swerve hit Swerve stomp to Darby on the chair. Back in the ring, they were. So, once they were in the ring, Fox hit a twisting brainbuster. Looks good for a near fall. They're going back and forth, trying to finish Nick Wayne with finishers, but he kept kicking out. And then finally, Wayne rolled up with like an Okada roll on Fox and got the win as Darby was holding back Swerve. So there you go. They got the win. And I was curious. So Swerve said that was embarrassing. He took the mic and he said, "It's embarrassing for you, Fox." Said, "How come when lights are bright and this is big that you underdeliver, you underwhelm?" Saying that this was all just a big test for him, for Fox, and he failed. And I can't trust you from 8,000 at Wembley. So, Swerve was the Prince Nana, like, freedom is rights, and Nana seemed conflicted But in the end, he said to Fox, "You are fired from the Mogul Embassy." So Brian Cage blindsided Fox. Hit big lariat, went for a drill claw. Sting all of a sudden shows up with Nick Wayne and Darby. Hence because they announced that Sting is going to be part of big 8-man tag in the main event of Collision. So they chase off and they're like, commentary was like, who's going to be? Even Darby's like, who's going to be your partner for Wembley now? So they were smirking, Swerve, and all of a sudden we see Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. You want to tie in because a week later, week from Sunday, Darby's vying for the TNT Championship. So mind games. Christian Cage is Swerve's new partner. Christian got on the mic, said, "This is Nick Wayne. Good to meet you, kid. I've heard a bunch about you. I've heard you have a father." And this when everybody knew what was coming next. And Christian said to Wayne, "And your father's dead." So Christian talked about Darby and the whole nuance of the TNT Championship, and this was good. This is good. Swerve and Christian makes better versus Sting and Darby on Sunday in the coffin match. Told Wayne to stay off their business and not be at Wembley. I'm sure he's going to make an appearance. But yeah. Makes better. And to be honest, from 8,000, Christian, that entrance with the turtleneck in front of 8,000 plus, gonna get a good amount of heat, you can say. So next we have was a good sit down with FTR and the Bucks backstage. So after the opening match, FTR came out to save the Bucks, or the opening brawl. So Renee talked about the past couple times FTR has run out to save the Bucks, and Cash and were like, well, they want to make sure that once for all, who is the best tag team? And they're all talking about, well, talking about legacy, talking about, they asked the Bucks, what's their experience like? Well, they said, 5 years ago, no one thought they could fill up a 10,000 seat arena, and they did that. 5 years later, they've done it 8 times over. And they made it clear their status and their legacy is proven. And they don't need to win this match. They feel that FTR, though, need to win this match for their own right. And Dax got a little fired up here about this whole thing. And yeah, this was unique. But and then Matt talked about the punchline. Well, FTR being the guys that the Bucks mentioned on their YouTube channel. So there you go. Yeah. I am. This match, it's for all the marbles. It's for the bragging rights, for the legacy. You can see it going both ways, honestly. I mean, with Young Bucks, because FTR's now had a fruitful reign as champs. And, I don't know, with the Bucks now resigning, this is unique. Maybe, just maybe this a part of the process, incentive of them resigning. Them being the first 3-time. I mean, they're the only 2-time tag team champions in AEW. Or actually, were the first ever 2-time champions because, FTR's in their second reign. But now to top them, not only to win the rubber match, to be the first 3-time tag team champions in AEW. I mean, to be honest, I feel like their second reign really didn't get off the rails. It was just very short. But, yeah, see how it goes. We know it's going to deliver. That's the thing. Ruby Soho for Skye Blue. So, it was announced during this match that Ruby Soho was eyeing the TBS Championship and Chris Statlander. So, yeah, the commentary team was building up, so you kind of already had a feeling where this is heading. And, yeah, this match was good. So, or it was decent, I should say. So, great to see Skye Blue, but anyway, so one with the no future, destination unknown. So Statlander interviewed with Mercedes. Could we be? I mean, we got enough matches happening at Wembley, but at the same time, all out's in a week. So I'm curious if this leads to a multi-women's match at All Out. Certainly unique, we'll see. But if that's the case, good for them. We'll see. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom backstage, and they didn't say much. We'll say I have not seen Marie Kanellis in a while. But yeah, curious if hopefully things are okay and not hurt it or see anything. But yeah, it's a little strange. I'm not seeing. I mean, they obviously have kids, so. But again, she's a big part of their act as well, so I don't know. But so short but sweet. So Strong was asked about Sunday, and Strong said point blank that after Sunday night and the main event, you'll see the real MJF and you'll see the real Adam Cole. So, we'll see. We'll see. I love that they're having us guess that, like, see, here's the thing. You don't want them to have a full throttle match at 0 hour. That's just the thing. Because after the match, it's only a couple hours before the main event. So I'm curious if it's going to be like a short match where one person turns on the other, or maybe something happens, and they reconcile, but then in the main event, there you go. The Acclaimed, they're out there and they called out House of Black, who oblige. Brawl ensued, which were saved by badass Billy Gunn. Not bad, so anyways, point blank. Billy Gunn said Sunday, basically it's all or nothing for one night. It's going to be them versus House Black Trios titles. it's been a fruitful reign, long reign for Dallas Black. I don't want to see him lose. And they shouldn't, but we'll see. Main events, which I get it. They're facing them in the main events, are facing them on 0 Hour on Sunday, but at the same time, it's a Ring of Honor title match main eventing an AEW show, which was a Golem show, to their biggest show of all time. So, but this match was fun. You know, they tried to play up Hardy's Aussie Open. You know, short, but it was mostly after the match. So, mad side effect for near fall. Ultimately, Aussie Open won with a front slam DT combo out of the corner for the win. So yeah. Afterwards, stupid Kyle Fletcher, just kidding, we love him, but yeah. So Fletcher said there will be no kangaroo kick and no double clothesline on Sunday. Next thing you know, we hear MJF Adam Cole's music play. They trot out the ring. Brawl ensues between two teams. MJF seemingly wanted the kangaroo kick, but in the double clothesline, but what happened was MJF held up Davis for a super kick, but Davis ducked out of the way. And MJF caught Cole, and MJF was not happy as it almost happened. So they basically hugged it out, stared down with the MJF holding up the AEW World title. And there was that. All in Sunday. It's going to be good. But yeah, the Golem show, very fun. You know, just have a couple more stops before Sunday. And yeah, it's going to be fun. 80,000 plus for AEW. Say what you want, but 5 years after the initial All In, and this is happening, it's going to be a joy to see. So, whether you're a fan of AEW, whether you're a fan of AEW or whether you're a WWE stan, at the end of the day, this is great for the wrestling business, and Sunday will be a moment to not soon forget. But, so yeah, I should depending on how things go, I should have a review up for, well, I'll see you guys on Sunday for Collision, the last stop before All In. And then right back, I'm back either Monday or Tuesday, depending, with your All In review. But we'll have those up, so keep in mind. But if you guys like this review, leave a like, subscribe. Guys, thank you all. See you guys on Sunday. But yeah, we'll see. Peace, guys. Hey, Joe, true love is out.